Located far away from the hustle and bustle of many of the busiest cities of the world, the Caribbean region is known as one of the world's best vacation destinations. In addition to being the world's top vacation destination, the Caribbean is also a top destination for investors. The Caribbean has historically been one of the top recipients of direct investment in the world. The economic growth has resulted in increased local demand for food products, consumer goods, housing, and infrastructure. Millions of tourists flock to the Caribbean annually, creating opportunities for companies to serve all markets. Number 7. Barbados. Barbados is an island country in the Caribbean region of North America. Its capital and the largest city is Bridgetown, located within the parish of St. Michael. Since independence, the economy of Barbados has over the years been transformed from a high-income economy dependent on sugar production to an upper-middle-income economy based on agriculture and tourism sectors. Over the years, the economy of Barbados has transformed from agriculture-based to tourism-based. Tourism by itself contributes about 15% of Barbados' gross domestic product. Development of the international business and financial services sector began in earnest around 1969, and today, it contributes significantly to the island's foreign exchange earnings. Low tax rates, double taxation agreements, and exchange of information treaties have provided Barbados with an ideal environment for attracting international investors. The agricultural sector in Barbados is dominated by sugarcane production. As to the future, the Barbados government is looking to develop a new class of high-tech, small, young food farmers and distributors. Number 6. Guyana. Guyana shares a border with Venezuela, Brazil, and Suriname. It is the 130th largest export economy in the world. The top export destinations are Canada, the United States, Trinidad and Tobago, Panama, and Belgium. The nation's industry and manufacturing sector contributed an estimated 10% to the GDP. The sector is traditionally based on the processing of forest products, agricultural products, food, beverages, minerals, pharmaceuticals, and basic consumer items for domestic consumption. However, over the years, the country has begun to invest more in value-added, export-oriented industries, such as the manufacture of agro-industry products, apparel, garments, construction materials, and ceramics. In the agricultural sector, sugar production has been the nation's traditional source of foreign exchange, while rice has been the nation's main staple food. Guyana is among the world's largest bauxite producers. The construction industry accounted for 7% of the nation's GDP. Government and privately funded projects are the primary drivers of the sector. The government of Guyana has been keen on ensuring the growth of the economy and fostering conditions that create opportunities for expansion and renewal in the economy. Number 5. Jamaica. Jamaica is one of the major economies in the Caribbean. The country is endowed with natural resources in the form of minerals, favorable climate, and natural beauty. Jamaica has evolved from being a goods-producing economy to a services-dominant economy. Tourism, agriculture, mining, and manufacturing are the largest industries in the country, contributing about 30%, 6.6%, 4.1%, and 29.4% of Jamaica's GDP, respectively. The tourism industry is the Caribbean country's top foreign exchange earner. The island nation is a gem in the region, having animals found nowhere else in the Caribbean. The Blue Mountains and the John Crow Mountains are among the favorite tourist sites in the country, with the region being rich in vegetation resulting in beautiful green scenery. Another major industry in the island nation is agriculture. The leading export items from the industry include coffee, sugar, and yams. The mining industry is another significant economic driver in Jamaica. The country is one of the world's largest producers of alumina and bauxite. Manufacture of textiles is one of the industry's largest sectors and its biggest employer. The biggest markets for Jamaica's exports are the United States, Russia, and Canada. Number 4. The Dominican Republic. The Dominican Republic is an island nation located on the island of Hispaniola. The country is categorized as a developing, upper-middle-income nation, and its economy is highly dependent on tourism, agriculture, mining, and trade. Agriculture is the second most important industry, particularly in export earnings, just behind mining. About 80% of the Dominican Republic land area is suitable for agriculture, and almost 17% of the country's labor force engage in agriculture. The country's most important mineral is nickel, which has experienced growth as a result of higher prices of the mineral. The popularity of tourism in the country began in the mid-1980s, and it has become famous because of its location in the Caribbean, its beaches, the tropical climate, and the restoration of Spanish colonial architecture. There are several foreign investors in the country, which have developed and expanded resorts and airports along the coastal regions. Number 3. Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago is the Caribbean's largest economy, having a gross domestic product of $30.12 billion. Some of the major industries in the country are its energy, agriculture, manufacturing, and tourism industries, whose products form bulk of the country's annual exports. The country sits on the Caribbean's largest reserves of petroleum and natural gas. The energy industry is the island nation's biggest industry and the primary driver of its economy. The abundance of oil and gas in Trinidad and Tobago is pointed out as the reason behind the consistent economic dominance of the country in the Caribbean region. Petroleum and its products are the country's leading export items and represent about 22% of the annual government revenue. Agriculture is an essential industry in Trinidad and Tobago's economy. The country is a major producer of cocoa, sugar, citrus fruits, and coffee, which are also the top agricultural export commodities from the nation. Heavy industry is at the core of manufacturing, as the country is a famous producer of steel and iron. The biggest markets for the country's exports are the United States, Brazil, and Argentina. Number 2. Suriname. The Republic of Suriname is the smallest sovereign state in Caribbean. During the Dutch colonial period, Suriname was a chief sugar colony whose plantation economy depended on African slaves. The discovery of natural resources such as bauxite, gold, and oil have increased its revenue sources and economic independence. Agriculture remains a strong contributor to the economy. Ecotourism is the newest source of revenue for the country. The economy of Suriname is dependent on commerce, with major partners including Canada, the US, Netherlands, and Caribbean countries. The economy of Suriname is dominated by the bauxite industry, accounting for more than 15% of the country's GDP and over 70% of export revenue. This industry is responsible for the production of alumina and small amounts of aluminum. The oil sector is one of the promising sectors in Suriname with the potential to improve the country's export earnings. Agriculture, especially banana and rice farming, is one of the major components of the economy. Large-scale agricultural activities have long been practiced in the coastal areas of Suriname. Main agricultural products are cotton, cacao, coffee, and sugar. Suriname's forestry sector has captured the attention of the international companies that are interested in investing in the tropical hardwood industry. Suriname has one of the highest proportions of rainforest cover in the world. Number 1. The Bahamas. The country is made up of more than 700 islands, islets, and cays within the Atlantic Ocean. The Bahamas is the wealthiest nation in the Caribbean and the third richest country in the Americas. Although the Bahamas is still a developing nation, it has one of the most stable economies in the region. Some of the main industries in the Bahamas include banking, tourism, oil transshipment, cement, pharmaceuticals, salt, aragonite, and rum, among others. Tourism in the Bahamas is an important economic activity, and it is estimated that it contributes about 60% of the country's GDP while employing almost half of the country's labor force. The natural resources of the Bahamas have allowed for the agriculture and fish industries to account for about 5% of the country's GDP. The country exports fish and lobsters, although it does not raise them commercially. Financial services industry is the second most important industry in the Bahamas and accounts for about 17% of the GDP. The country has become an international center for banking and finance and has attracted numerous financial institutions because of its reputation and stability. Please share your views about this video in the comment section. Do hit the notification bell for more interesting videos from around the world. We at Find Travel carry out a lot of research and talk to officials, residents, and travel guides to give you information that is true and accurate, to help you find the best locations in the world where you can settle or visit. We are committed to providing you with the best possible information about pros and cons of different places around the world, so you can make an informed and sensible choice about where to reside or settle. Thanks for watching. Eat, sleep, travel, and stay calm.